Zhang Yi and his companions found a section and took a seat. But the moment they did, Bailey Chongqing hurriedly rushed over with a smile. He placed an arm around Zhang Yi's shoulders affectionately and greeted, "Hey Captain, why are you sitting here?" It was clearly obvious that compared to Gao Chongkong and Tu Yunlai, who were popular, he did not look very impressive. Everybody likes to stir up trouble about something new, and nobody likes to rehash old news. Even though I am a mutant from an outer city and have assumed the position of captain of the Tengu team, I am not likely to be noticed by the bigwigs in Blizzard City. Sighing softly, Bailey Chongqing replied that it couldn't be helped. At any time, there will always be a strict hierarchy of contempt. As a mutant from an outer city, you are somewhat looked down upon in the eyes of most people in Blizzard City. You are even inferior to Gao Chongkong, who climbed up from the bottom of Blizzard City. Really? Then let them see it as they please. With a nonchalant demeanor, Zhang Yi spread his arms helplessly as Bailey Chongqing took a seat right next to him. Zhang Yi raised a meaningful smile at the corner of his mouth when he looked in Bailey Chongqing's direction. "By the way, Bailey, who do you think is better fit to lead this mission?" Bailey Chongqing grabs his chin, his eyes wandering between the two circles, looking at Tu Yunlai, and then at Gao Chongkong, who was extremely popular, before sharing his thoughts. Both of them submitted letters of request to Zhu Zhang, hoping to lead this operation. But at present, it seems that the Samsara team has a much better chance, because the Yenyun army needs to defend Blizzard City and protect the safety of the top leaders. As the head of the Yenyun Guard, Tu Yunlai certainly cannot leave Blizzard City, although he's very strong, and has the ability to guide large-scale battles. Based on this, if I have to choose one between the two, I will definitely choose Gao Chongkong. Yang Xinxin suddenly chimed in and questioned coldly, "Are these the only two people you chose?" Bailey Chongqing was stunned for a moment. Then he saw Zhang Yi's meaningful smile and realized that he had overlooked him. But can Zhang Yi really be the leader of this operation? Bailey Chongqing laughed and stated nervously, "Zhang Yi, can you two please stop making such insinuations like that? You are not even the kind of person who wants to take charge." Bailey Chongqing knew Zhang Yi's character very well, and was convinced that his captain was not the kind of person who liked to fight for fame and fortune. If possible, Zhang Yi would rather lie dead at home than interfere in any tasks that did not concern him. Besides, he continued leisurely, "You are from an outer city, and I don't mean to look down on you, but you just simply cannot take the lead. Mainly because in Blizzard City, the xenophobia is very strong and particularly obvious at critical moments like these. Also, wasn't it the same in your Tianhai city at the beginning?" Zhang Yi simply folded his arms with a knowing smile and stated casually, "If you say so, then I guess that's it." Not long after, accompanied by his two entourage, Lan Xinqing and Sun Luxuan, Zhu Zhang appeared at the venue and took the center stage. Everyone immediately quieted down and greeted Zhu Zhang. He acknowledged this as everyone, especially Tu Yunlai and Gao Chongkong, looked at him expectantly, waiting for him to announce the person in charge of the third encirclement and suppression plan. The power structure of Blizzard City will also change because of this, whether it was Tu Yunlai or Gao Chongkong. Zhu Zhang began his speech and got straight to the point. First, he summarized the reasons for the failure of the previous two encirclement and suppression plans and did some self-examination. Then he mentioned the gains from the two encirclement and suppression missions. Anyway, I want to especially praise one person. That is Zhang Yi from Tianhai City. During the second encirclement and suppression mission, he single-handedly killed 4 members of Eclipse Moon and saved the face of the entire Jiangnan region. Because of this outstanding achievement, as well as Zhang Yi's personal courage and loyalty to the Jiangnan district, I've decided to form a new temporary investigation team named Tengu. It'll be the merging of the Black Robe team and the remnants of the Heavenly God team. And as the core, I appoint Zhang Yi as the team leader. As soon as these words came out, there was a lot of discussion. However, the expressions of the people were not too surprised. This news had long been rumored among the senior management. Everyone also understood that such a new force was indeed needed. In addition, Zhang Yi had experience in fighting against Eclipse Moon and had achieved excellent results. So it was reasonable for him to be the captain. But Zhu Zheng's next words made everyone feel that something was off, because he hadn't even mentioned Tu Yunlai and Gao Chongkong, not once, but kept promoting Zhang Yi's personal outstanding deeds, calling him a rare genius. From now on, in order to keep the senior combatants confidential, we will no longer call Zhang Yi's name to the outside world. Instead, we will call him by the code name Chaos. Similarly, the elite members of other combat units will all be called by their corresponding code names to the outside world. Those who can have code names are all elites, such as members of the investigation team and those above the captain level in the Yenyun army. It's just that, in the past, these code names were only used in the process of performing tasks. However, the Tengu squad is only a temporary organization. But a special codename was applied for Zhang Yi. Moreover, the word from now on sounds unusual. Everyone listened to Zhu Zheng's tone and realized that the situation was a little subtle. Bailey Changqing, who was sitting next to Zhang Yi, was totally shocked to his core and looked in Zhang Yi's direction. No, it's impossible, right? Zhu Zheng really wants Zhang Yi to take the lead in this mission? He had just thought of this when Zhu Zheng's cold tone confirmed it. Based on my careful consideration, in the next operation to encircle and suppress Eclipse Moon, the Tengu squad will be the leader. The Samsara squad will be responsible for cooperating with the Tengu squad. And Zhang Yi will have the highest command on the battlefield, while the Combat Command Center provides battlefield guidance. As soon as these words came out, the whole venue exploded. Although they were all high-level officials, they usually don't lose their composure in front of Zhu Zheng's high-level authority. But the current situation surprised everyone and was beyond imagination. What? The commander-in-chief of this operation is a mutant from outside Blizzard City? What qualifications does he even have? Whether in terms of popularity or tactical skills, can he really be compared with Gao Changkong and Tu Yunlai? This must be a joke, right? But since Zhu Zheng made this decision, he must have thought it through carefully. And it seems that Zhang Yi is indeed extraordinary. After all, he was able to kill 4 members of Eclipse Moon, and his strength is not bad. But if he is asked to command people like Gao Changkong and Tu Yunlai, can he do it? Someone amidst the crowd suddenly pointed out the main reason questionably. Wait, is Zhu Zheng worried that Gao Changkong or Tu Yunlai's achievements will shock their master? So he chose a mutant from the outer city who is easy to control to take on important responsibilities? But if he is not capable enough and the third encirclement and suppression operation fails, the problem will be serious. Everyone had their own thoughts. Tu Yunlai was stunned, but soon regained his composure. And as for Gao Changkong, he also did the same as his deputy captain Ji Yushin stated indignantly. Who the hell is he to be our commander? Gao Changkong looked in his direction and spoke calmly. Commander Zhu Zheng must have his reasons for making this decision. And I've also heard that Zhang Yi has unique ideas. Gao Changkong has a good relationship with Bailey Changqing, so he has heard about some of Zhang Yi's deeds. But as the scene shifted to Bailey Changqing's side, he was absolutely mind-boggled. And when he looked in Zhang Yi's direction, then at Zhu Zheng on the stage, he realized that Zhang Yi had known everything for a long time. Zhang Yi was not surprised and looked calm. Too calm, actually. No wonder you agreed to accept the position of captain of the Tengu squad. Turns out that Zhu Zheng promised you such a big benefit. Once the mission of encircling and suppressing Eclipse Moon is successful, the reward Zhang Yi will get will undoubtedly be huge, and he will also be able to become a hero in the entire Jiangnan region, and possibly the entire Huashu country. The stories about him will be legendary and widely circulated among the people. Ask yourself, if there is such an opportunity in front of you, Bailey Changqing, wouldn't you rush to seize it? Zhu Zheng looked at Zhang Yi in the audience and invited him to come up to the stage and say a few words. Zhang Yi stood up and confidently walked to the front stage under the gaze of everyone. He took the mic, and as his eyes swept over everyone present, he spoke calmly. Without further ado, I will do my best to capture these evil Ronin and safeguard the dignity of the Jiangnan region and the entire Huashu nation. It is our duty to restore the glory of the nation. Oh, and by the way, please call me by my title or code name in the future instead of my real name. Zhang Yi thanked everyone after these polite words and calmly walked down the podium. At this special moment, Zhu Zheng did not waste time talking about too many things, so the meeting ended quickly. But before that, he asked Zhang Yi to stay for a moment. He had something to discuss with him in private. However, this discussion was nothing more than to ask him if there was anything he didn't understand. Also, Gao Changkong and Tu Yunlai will be tasked to support him. But his next appointment as captain will be announced to the whole city, and he will be publicized as chaos. However, Zhang Yi also needs to contact the members of his team and seize this time to train. Of course, the most important thing was to take advantage of this time to get familiar with his team members and make them believe in him. Zhang Yi understood this and nodded slightly. But what he was much concerned about was Eclipse Moon. Had there been any news of them? Zhu Zheng shook his head. After they disappeared, there has been no movement. We even suspect that they left the mainland from the harbor and went back to Neon to recruit soldiers. Zhang Yi frowned slightly. Why do you think they returned to Neon? Zhu Zheng calmly replied that Neon was their base camp after all. Also, based on the appeal of the landing faction and relying on what they have done here, they can make good argument and can also probably recruit more Ronin to return to the Jiangnan area. Zhu Zheng placed a hand on Zhang Yi's shoulder and patted him with expectations in his eyes. We will make you a hero, and the hopes of the people of the entire Jiangnan region will be placed on you. So you must do your best. You must go all out and don't put too much pressure on yourself. When necessary, Tu Yunlai and the Yenyun troops will also be dispatched. Zhang Yi's pupils dilated as he stammers a little. Wait. Even the Yenyun guards are going to be dispatched. The Yenyun guards are the most important force that defends Blizzard City. Once they leave, the city's defense will be greatly reduced. It seems that this time, Zhu Zhang has really made up his mind. Zhu Zhang nodded confidently. There are no enemies inside the region, and the enemies are all outside. I have made comprehensive preparations, so you don't have to worry about this. Zhang Yi naturally didn't give two shits about Blizzard City. However, if the Yenyun guards led by Tu Yunlai, the Samsara squad and the Tengu squad were all participating in this operation, then it can be said that the armed forces dispatched this time around were at least 3 times stronger than the last time. And according to Zhang Yi's analysis of the combat power of the combined teams, Zhu Zhang is sparing no effort in going all out, and there was almost no possibility that the Jiangnan region will fail in this battle. Zhang Yi nodded slightly, feeling relieved. He replied that he understood his task and will get them done. Zhu Zhang then waves him off. Okay, you can go ahead. The people of the city and I are looking forward to your performance. The scene shifts to the lounge on the first floor of the combat center. At this time, Gao Changkong was sitting on a sofa with his girlfriend Guman next to him, and Bailey Chongqing opposite them. As for his deputy captain Ji Yushin, he had always had an impatient personality, so he left to cool off. When he found out that the leader of this operation was not Gao Changkong but Zhang Yi, he was quite resentful. Bailey Chongqing waved this off as a minor inconvenience and stated with some regret. In terms of ability, you are more suitable than Zhang Yi to be the commander this time. But he did not say the second half of the sentence because that involved some complicated things inside Blizzard City. Bailey Chongqing had no words of comfort other than an apology. He did not look down on Zhang Yi. It's just that, as a commander, Zhang Yi was indeed not as good as Gao Changkong. And in all honesty, Zhang Yi himself admitted this. However, Gao Changkong smiled as if he didn't care about it, and even raised his cup of hot water cheerfully like he was proposing a toast. But it's just that the fleeting regret in his eyes could not be perfectly concealed. Anyway, since it is the headquarters' decision, there must be a purpose. Zhu Zhang can't joke about the safety of the region. No matter who becomes the commander-in-chief, I will do my best to cooperate. Bailey Chongqing smiled, raised his cup of hot water and replied excitedly, I agree. It's just a title after all. When we really get to the battlefield, Zhang Yi will have to rely on you. Guman's phoenix eyes showed annoyance. Inwardly, she and everyone else knew this title was very important. Leading a large army and defeating the Neon Ronin organization head-on, such a reputation can allow a person to quickly rise in Blizzard City, gain a high reputation, and have the opportunity to enter the core power circles. Bailey Chongqing's face was a little helpless as he tried to explain. All I can say now is that Zhang Yi is not a person who is greedy for fame, and he has no interest in joining Blizzard City. Gao Changkong smiled slightly and added, Perhaps this is the reason why Zhu Zhang chose him. Bailey Chongqing took a sip of his cup of hot water as he kept track of time. And according to it, he was certain that Zhang Yi should be coming down soon. Right on cue, Zhang Yi arrived at the meeting area with Yang Xinxin next to him. Bailey Chongqing was surprised to see Yang Xinxin joining the gathering, but immediately dismissed any significant consequences. She was going to be a temporary team member after all. He got up slightly and waved the two over with a cheerful smile. Hey Zhang Yi, over here. Zhang Yi saw Gao Changkong and Guman and wondered what their attitudes were. Gao Changkong must be disappointed, and he might also hold a grudge against him. Zhang Yi had made sufficient preparations, but since he was going to encircle and suppress Eclipse Moon, communication with the leader of the Samsara squad was unavoidable. He walked over and greeted them with a smile. Captain Gao. Miss Gu, nice to see you again. Seeing Zhang Yi, Gao Changkong smiled politely and extended his hand. Zhang Yi, congratulations on becoming the captain of the Tengu squad. We will be partners in the future. Please give me your guidance. Zhang Yi saw that Gao Changkong's attitude was not bad, so he naturally shook hands with him. I am only a temporary captain, and I will step down after completing the mission. So it seems Captain Gao would rather give me more guidance on the next action. Gao Changkong then asked if Zhang Yi was free today. He wants to treat him to a meal, and in addition to that, they can talk about future cooperations. Hearing this, Zhang Yi certainly had no reason to refuse. Anyway, at this time in Blizzard City, overly luxurious restaurants have been banned, and the reason was to save food and resources. So Gao Changkong treated them to a nice restaurant in Area A. After exchanging pleasantries, they ordered some food. Meat was relatively cheap there, but it was almost impossible to eat a fresh one. Vegetables were only dehydrated, and they need to be steamed before cooking, although the taste changes completely. Gao Changkong briefly explained his purpose. I have already heard about Captain Zhang from Zhuzheng. Among the mutants of Eclipse Moon, there are some who can predict the future, but Captain Zhang can block the other party's ability. So, I hope to use this to formulate a battle plan. Because I believe that the most important reason why the Celestial God team was defeated by Eclipse Moon is that the other party knew all their actions. I don't want to repeat the same mistake, so I would like to ask you to give me support in this regard when I take action. Zhang Yi was pleased when he heard this, and stated that he was not a mutant who was good at attacking. The commander asked me to lead the team only because I am more stable and I can block the other party's predictions. So when we fight Eclipse Moon, we will have to rely on you in terms of combat power. Gao Changkong smiled slightly. Speaking of which, the premise of cooperation is mutual understanding. And we are not clear about each other's abilities. So let me introduce my abilities first. My ability is reincarnation. I can reincarnate between life and death. Every time I die, I will return to a period of time before my death. As for the time period, I will like to keep it a secret. In short, generally speaking, I can't be killed. And I can collect intelligence in advance through reincarnation. This can help me turn danger into safety and effectively collect information about my opponents. After listening to this, Zhang Yi actually let out a long sigh on the spot. Another person with the ability that can't be killed. Gao Changkong smiled and looked at Zhang Yi. My ability, in a sense, can actually circumvent the other party's prediction. I have studied the other party's ability. Although there are factors of causality in it, the range of her prediction is limited. Otherwise, the female ninja, Naru's Hanakyo, would not have been killed by Deng Shintong, and the other 4 people would not have been killed by you. So, the other party's ability is not omniscient and omnipotent. If I encounter them, I can use the first opportunity to test their abilities and tactics, then trigger reincarnation, and then change the way of playing to deal with it. Zhang Yi keenly discovered something. Your ability can only be triggered once. Gao Changkong nodded approvingly. Good insight. Starting from the timeline that triggers the reincarnation, until the second time the same timeline is reached, this is the cycle. My ability can only be activated within 1 day. He gave an example. If I activate my ability at this moment, 12:51 noon, then the next time I activate my ability, I need to wait until the timeline comes to the present again, and then another day, and then tomorrow at 12:51 noon before I can use it. These things are all recorded in the district. I have no need to deceive you, so please believe me. Also, there are not many people who can trigger my ability, so I often trigger it actively. Zhang Yi nodded in understanding. This is to say, even if he doesn't use his ability, he is very strong. Anyway, Zhang Yi briefly introduced his abilities, avoiding any detailed explanation and his hidden skill, Spear of the Void. He only gave the information the Jiangnan district had already collected. After all, it's not like Gao Changkong hadn't concealed something from him. Gao Changkong raised his cup for a toast. I hope we can cooperate well and complete this mission together. The Eclipse group must be eliminated at any cost. Only by eliminating them can there be peace. Zhang Yi nodded. I have the same idea. This meal was Gao Changkong's statement to Zhang Yi. It proved that he didn't feel resentful because he lost the initiative to act. It was not only for Zhang Yi to see, but also for the top leaders of Blizzard City. After dinner, Zhang Yi took Yang Xinxin back to the villa. Sitting on the sofa with Yang Xinxin next to him, Zhang Yi was a little solemn. And this made Yang Xinxin ask curiously, Big brother, do you have any opinion about Gao Changkong? Zhang Yi smiled faintly and replied calmly, I'm quite interested in his abilities. Zhang Yi leaned against the sofa and stated curiously, I was just wondering, how far back in time can his death is reincarnation ability be restarted? If he can go back 3 days every time he is reborn, then he will have 3 times as much time as an ordinary person. 7 days ago it was 7 times, 10 days ago it was 10 times. In this way, as long as he keeps using this ability, he will get many times more time than others. In addition, since he can know the future trajectory in advance, there are countless things he can do. Even if it is just to improve his strength, his growth rate will be frighteningly fast. Zhang Yi also somewhat understood why Gao Changkong was able to climb from the bottom area step by step to where he was today. But at this time, Yang Xinxin's mouth curled up slightly. She tilted her head slightly and asked mischievously, But, big brother, do you really believe the ability Gao Changkong described to you? Zhang Yi was slightly startled when he heard this. Gao Changkong will definitely not reveal everything to me. But there is no point for him to lie to me about his ability. After all, his ability is not a big secret among the top leaders of Blizzard City. Yang Xinxin's black gemstone eyes turned. I just feel that his ability is very strange. Do humans really have the ability to change the timeline of this world? This question brought Zhang Yi's thoughts back to the time when he was reborn. Zhang Yi nodded. Maybe it's really possible. Yang Xinxin didn't understand why Zhang Yi was so sure. But, according to what he said, he can distort time at will and constantly change history within the reincarnation cycle of a day. This is no longer the realm of humans, but the realm of gods. Yang Xinxin said slowly. Zhang Yi was silent for a long time before stating curiously. Maybe his upper limit is not just a Delta-level mutant. But who knows? He shrugged his shoulders. It is difficult to verify the truth of other people's superpowers, especially those related to the time domain. After all, Zhang Yi had reincarnated before, so there was a high possibility that he was one of them. However, at present, he has not discovered the unlocking code of this ability in this aspect. And he wasn't stupid enough to die again for experimental purposes. That would be too much. Anyway, there is no need to consider this issue now. It wouldn't matter in the long run whether Gao Changkong's ability is the same as he described. Anyhow, I am the captain of the Tengu team, and I need to meet with my team members. I also need to integrate the Black Robe team with the members of the God team for training to deal with the eclipse moon that may appear again at any time. We also need to go pick up Leang Yu in 3 days. I don't know how much Leang Yu can grow, but I'm quite looking forward to it. The scene shifts, and just like that, 3 days had passed. At the lounging room inside the Deng Garden, Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin were waiting to meet Leang Yu after their separation. However, within the 3-day skip, the propaganda department of Blizzard City tailored a heroic image for Zhang Yi, who was born in poverty but had feelings and righteousness. His deeds, achievements, and current status were also publicized, and this soon attracted the attention of all the people in Blizzard City. As a result, Gao Changkong's aura of a civilian hero was weakened a lot. Anyway, as the two wait patiently, Zhang Yi curiously kept wondering how far Leang Yu had developed. Did she improve to a deputy captain level figure? Or higher? Zhang Yi's thoughts was cut short when Leang Yu suddenly appeared at the scene with a marvelous sight that was very appealing to see. Apparently, her potential even exceeded Deng Shintong and Liao Honglei. But sadly, there weren't enough time to properly train her to her full potential. However, relying on her tempered physique and extraordinary will, Leang Yu endured to the end, and the transformation had greatly improved her physical functions. Seeing this, Zhang Yi was delighted with this outcome.